Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. So, review slash overview slash review, whatever you want to call this. Katana 50 guitar amplifier by Boss. There's also, of course, a 100 and so on. Okay, the Katana 50 is what I'm talking about because that is the one I've got some experience with. I went into Music City a few days ago to pick up my new Telecaster. While I was there, saw this amp. The guy had mentioned it to me because he knows that I want something that's acoustic capable properly. And the Katana 50 has an acoustic area on it where you can switch it to acoustic to plug in an acoustic electric guitar. You will not get your electric guitar to simulate an acoustic guitar on the acoustic model. It is strictly used for acoustic electric guitars. So, anyways, very nice amp. As far as on the Telecaster goes, my initial tryout of it was like nobody even helped me out to figure out how to use the damn thing. But you know, whatever. I flipped around the dial a few times and checked a few controls out, and wasn't terribly impressed. But I've had a little bit more time on it since then and been able to play around with it and check out a lot of videos on YouTube where Telecasters, Strats, and dual humbucker guitars have been used on it, and it actually seems to be a really good amp in the end. Today I was in at Music City, wanted to escape from the country and just get out of the house for a couple hours, so I went into North Bay and took another look at the Katana 50. And because one of the things that was mentioned about the 100s, of course, is that it had a line out feature, which is great for going into a soundboard system. You do require a line out. Don't try it through the headphone jack because you can overdrive your system. Anyway, so you need a line out feature. It's a specific amount of output power, blah, blah, blah. You get the idea. So anyways, turns out the Katana 50 does not have a line out setup on it. So that kind of really sucks because that just kind of blew the sale right there. I did try it out on my acoustic guitar. I liked it. Once you start driving a little too much amperage through in the volume control, it does break up a little bit on the acoustic. It just didn't sound good anymore. So at lower volumes, I would say upwards to about 10 watts worth of juice. And in a large area, you're going to be okay with it for an acoustic. And 10 watts is a hell of a lot of power when it comes to sound output. And you've got a 12-inch speaker in here too, so it's really going to push that out really good. So it does get quite loud and still staying clean, but only to a certain point. So don't think you can crank this thing full blast on an acoustic guitar and get away with still having a really good sound intact. So that part of it was kind of like, all right, well, I don't need access to a ton load of power for acoustic, even when I'm playing live. That's not even been a problem with my Fender Mustang amp. Problem is, my Mustang amp is not specifically geared towards acoustic guitars, so I'm really chancing it a lot when I'm running an acoustic guitar into my Mustang Fender amp. So I want something specific and safe, and this thing is. However, I'm going to have to save my pennies because I'm going to have to go into the 100 model because I need access to that line out setup, not just for when I play live at church, but also I want to put in a home recording studio, and I want to be able to use this as a monitor through the sound system, and so I'm going to need the 100. However, if you don't need access to the line out service, the Katana 50 doesn't have it, so you're all set to go. And for under 300 bucks Canadian, it's a hell of an amplifier, and it does have a lot of power for 50 amps or 50 watts. I think overall it's a great machine. You've got access to over 55 Boss pedals, that you can program all kinds of sounds with this thing. The 12-inch speaker is really good. That surprised me. I thought for something in a box the size that it's in, it would only have a 10, but it does have a 12-inch, even in the 50 watt range one. You've got your tone settings for channel 1 and 2. You've got delay FX, reverb button, tap button, booster, mod knob, delay FX knob, reverb knob, and booster and mod knob. Part of the booster mod knob also gets you into a couple of effects like your chorus and stuff, and you can vary the amount of chorus that comes through, so that's kind of cool. Amp types are acoustic, clean, crunch, lead, and brown. So acoustic, like I said, is only for acoustic guitar usage. The clean, crunch, and lead and brown is for your electric side. Okay, and then you've got a gain and volume button too. And that booster can really boost the juice up, let me tell you. You've got your input jacks for 1/4 inch, auxiliary in for like your iPods and iPads and MP3 players, record out and headphone out. Well, that's fine. Record out. You know, like I said, it's not a line out; it's a record out. So you gotta kind of watch it on, you know, how much juice you crank through, so you don't distort the signal. You know, you cannot use it as a line out and still use it as a monitor, because as soon as you plug the jack in, it shuts off your internal speaker. This is where the 100 Katana has a separate line out, so you can still run it as a monitor while you're plugged into a sound system. USB port, that is going to be for hooking into your computer with, and you know, setting up your own amp models, and it's got a few memory selections for the users to pre-program a few things. It consumes 47 watts of power. That is something where it has nothing to do with the power output of the amp. It's just the fact that it consumes 47 watts of electricity. Owner's manual, power cord. Now the foot switch is sold separately. It's quite the cool looking foot switch too, that you can get for it. I see one guy get one, and it's like, that's pretty sick. Dimensions are pretty simple and straightforward here, you know. So if you're looking for a really good practice amp and an amp for, say you want to use it in the studio for recording, but you don't require access to being able to hook into a sound system with it, you would be fine. And you can mic it up anyways if you wanted to and still get it through a sound system that way. You know, me, I want what I want, and that means it's going to cost me like an extra $100 or some dollar, about an extra $100 or something. But I'm going to have to wait on it. But I still think that even this one here is still a really good buy, and it does have the kickstand on this one too, so you can angle the amp upward to direct your sound a little bit better, the way you want it to carry over. So all in all, and like I said, I've tried this thing out a few times. I don't own it, and I won't be owning the Katana 50. So I would definitely put this thing, as far as your star rating goes, I would say overall, and for what it is and for the usage it has capable to it, I would definitely say this thing's a good solid 4 out of 5 anyways. Nothing's ever perfect. The lack of the line out kind of sucks. I mean, they could have added that feature in, you know, and given it to us in a 50 watt model. I do like also the fact that you can go from 50 to 25 to half a watt, and in the 100 watt model you go from 100 to 50 to a half watt. I believe that's how that one works, if I remember correctly. But either way, multiple power output levels, and the half watt's kind of nice for practicing, especially late at night and you want to practice and still have some sound, not disturb the neighbors. It's actually good to put it on that level, and you still keep the quality of your sound, of your effects and stuff going too, so you still get your pleasing, cool sound, so you're not going to suffer sound, which is kind of nice. So, and I've tried out like the 3 power levels on the Katana 50, and it seems to be pretty decent in the end. You know, but I'm glad I got a little more time on it, because my first initial experience with it, it was kind of like, yeah, you know, now that I've had some time in and been able to play with it, and you know, the guy showed me how to use a few of the features today with it. It's like, oh, okay, now we see. Now I understand why, you know, people are turning down the bass knob too once you do this and this and this, because man, that thing can ever thud the bass out. You know, so that's kind of cool. I'm happy with those features. So I'm looking forward to being able to get my hands on the Katana 100 as soon as I can afford it. And I think that Bosch really should go back and redo a new version of the Katana 50 and add in that line out, because they would definitely make a hell of a lot more sales if that line out feature was available in all of the Katanas. You know, that would really make a huge difference for everybody, because really, like I said, 50 watts, who the hell needs more than 50 watts even bar gigging? You know, you really, honestly don't. You know, I'm working with a, what is it, 20 watt, 25 watt amp, my Mustang one. I have no problem blasting over top of the drums, and I'm not even turning the dial up that high with an acoustic electric. And I do play my electric in church too, through the same amp, and I have no problem getting over top the drummer and the other guitar players and the piano player, and I'm barely even touching power on the dial. You know, I might be lucky to be putting out using 3 watts of my amp, and I've got an 8-inch speaker in my Mustang one. This is like 12-inch, you know, and 50 watts available to you, you know, and so yeah, so pretty neat. Anyways, guys, that's my thoughts and feelings. Let me know what you think, and hey, we'll definitely catch you on the next one. And as soon as I can get the Katana 100, you will see that one on my channel once I can get it. So, till next time, catch you later.